Once we are done with the basic statements of PHP, let's check out how we can create arrays in PHP. Arrays are an elementary part of PHP programming language. Arrays can contain any type of heterogeneous data. Okay, they are not like C arrays, which can contain only homogeneous data. Arrays can contain any type of heterogeneous data. That is, a single array can contain integers, floats, characters, strings, etc. So to declare the array, we should use the following syntax. $arr, that is the variable name, equals to array. The meaning of array as a function is to declare an array. You can pass n number of arguments inside this function, and PHP will convert all these arguments and give them to you in the form of an array. So this array contains two strings, Pankaj and Sagar. It contains a float variable 33.22 and it contains an integer variable 98. So this assures that in PHP the array can contain any type of heterogeneous data. To access this array, we can use the normal C-like syntax. ARR of 0 will give us Pankaj, $ARR of 1 will give me Sagar, $ARR of 2 will give me 33.22, and ARR of 3 will give me 98. Okay, whenever you are accessing any variable, you have to make sure that you append or you prepend a $sign in front of that. To add more elements, we can simply say $ARR of 4 equals to Pooja. That will add one more element to the array ARR, and that will be of type string. That is fine. To print a complete array, we must use the print_r function. The print_r function is a very handy function. Inside this print_r function, you pass the array name and that will print out the complete array in front of you. That's fine. If I want to print the ARR array, we'll say print_r ARR. To get the size of the array, we must use the size of function. For example, size of $ARR will give me the size of the array, that is the number of elements inside the array. These two functions are very important when you are performing operations on the array. To loop through the array, you must use a for loop. So if I want to loop through the complete array, I can say for $count equals to 0. $count is less than size of $ARR, $count plus plus. Okay, so it will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and stop at 4, and then it will echo the position, that is position 0 value Pankaj, position 1 value Sagar, position 2 value 33.44, position 3 value 98, and position 4 value Pooja. So far so good. So let's see how our array is actually stored. Normal arrays have fixed numbered indexes starting from 0. PHP arrays are stored in the form of key value pairs. So when we write ARR equals to ABCD, PHP will create a memory block inside its server, and that memory block will contain 4 keys. The first key will be 0 and its value will be A. The second key will be 1, the value will be B. Then the key will be 2, the value will be C, and the key will be 3 and value will be D. We have heard about key value pairs when we used to pass bundles. Similarly over here, whatever array you initialize, that array will contain keys and values. The key will be the index of the array and the value will be the value at that index. Okay, so if I say $ARR of 0, it indicates that I want to access the 0th key of the ARR array, and that has a value of A. If I will say $ARR of 4, that indicates I want to access the 4th element or the 4th index of the array, and which it will have some value. Similarly, if we need to assign custom indexes to our array, then we can initialize the arrays as follows. For example, if I will say ARR cust equals to array, the first argument over here is the key equal to less than sign Pankaj. This indicates that this array has a name 1 of Pankaj, comma, name 2 of Sagar, comma, 0 at 33.22, 1 as 98, and name 3 as Pooja. So how many keys we have over here? Correct. We have 5 keys. The first key is name1 having the value Pankaj. The second key is name2 having the value Sagar. The third key is 0 having the value 33.22. The fourth key is 1 having the value 98. And the fifth key is name3 having the value Pooja. Now this would create the array as follows. It will have key name1 and the value is Pankaj. Key name2 value is Sagar. Key 0 value is 33.22. Key 1 value is 98. Key name3 value is Pooja. Okay. Now to access the custom index based arrays, we can access it by giving the key as the index of the array. So if I will say ARR cust in bracket in double quotes name1, this name1 was the key having the value Pankaj. So this will give me the output Pankaj. If I'll write ARR cust name2, it will give me the output Sagar. ARR cust 0 will give me the output 33.22. ARR cust 1 will give me the output 98. And ARR cust name3 will give me the output Pooja. You can also access custom based arrays with the help of while loops. To access the array with the help of while loops, you can use while list key value equals to each $ARR cust. We had seen the for each loop in Java. A similar combination of for each loop is over here. It is a while each loop. The while each loop indicates that while you have a key and a value pair in each of the elements of this array, you can print that thing out by saying index as the key and value as the value. So it will give the output as name1 dash index name1 dash value Pankaj, index name2 dash value Sagar, index name 0 dash value 33.22, index 1 dash value 98, index name 3 dash value Pooja. So let's do it and check out how do we access arrays and loops with PHP. Let's do it for the loops example with the arrays. First of all, let's create the array. In our case, I'll press Ctrl N to create a new file. Over here, I'll just type the PHP tag, the closing and the starting brackets. I'll give the file name as array_test.php. Let's create an array. I'll say ARR equals to array. This will be a normal array. I'll give the name as Pankaj, then Sagar, 33.22, 98. This will create an array with 4 elements. How do we get the size of the array? By saying size of the array name. I'll say echo size of $ARR. Now when I will run this thing in the actual browser, I'll be getting the name as array_test. So I'll say array_test.php. It'll give me count as 4 because I have 4 elements over here. To print all the 4 elements in a single statement, I have print_r $ARR. It'll print out the complete array. Let me just press F5 or refresh over here. It'll give me array. At the 0th index, I have Pankaj. At the first index, I have Sagar. At the second index, I have 33.22. At third index, I have 98. Now let's print this thing out using a for loop. I can simply say, replacing this print ARR over here, for $count equals to 0, $count is less than $size of $ARR. I'll say $count plus plus. To print that thing out, I'll say echo element at $count. To combine the two strings is again double quotes is double quotes dot. Then I will say $ARR in bracket $count. This indicates that I am accessing the count element of the ARR array. Then I want a new line, so I'll say dot double quote br slash. Okay, let's refresh the browser again and see what do we get at the output. I think we made a mistake here. We had a double quote over here and a single quote, so I'll just replace it by double quote again so as to get the output properly. Refresh it. You will get element at 0, is Pankaj, element at 1 is Sagar, at 2 is 33.22, at 3 is 98. So far so good. Let's create one more array. I'll give the name as cust arr equals to array. Over here I want to have custom indices, so I will give the first index as name1. Say name1 has the value Pankaj. Then let's say name2 has the value Sagar. Let me say %1 has the value 98. %2 has the value 89. So we have got the array. If I will say print underscore r dollar CUSTARR, it will print out the complete array. Before that, let me just remove the above portion so that we don't get confused. So we have defined a custom array. Over here, the first index is name1 with the name or with the value Pankaj. The second index is name2 with the value Sagar. The third index is %1 with the value 98. The fourth index is %2 with the value 89. So let's run this thing or refresh this thing at the output. We will get array. At index name1 we have Pankaj. At index name2 we have Sagar. Index %1 we have 98. Index %2 we have 89. So how do we print with the help of a for loop? If I will do for $count equals to 0, $count is less than size of $CUSTARR, $count plus plus, I will just simply say echo $cust underscore ARR of $count. Will this give any output to us? The answer is no. Just refresh it. See, there is no output for the for loop. It is because of the fact that when we are saying $cust ARR in bracket count, this indicates that this count should be the index of this custom array. But the index of this custom array is name1, name2, %1, %2. For that, we have a while loop. I will say while list of key and value equals to each $cust ARR. This indicates while you have each key and value pair inside the custom array, what I want to do with the key and value, I'll say echo element with key, I'll say $key, and I'll say has value, I'll say $value, and simply say over here br slash and close the bracket. Now if I refresh the browser, I will get element with key name1 has value Pankaj, element with key name2 has value Sagar, element with key %1 has value 98, and element with key %2 has value 89. If I just remove this print r, you will be able to get the output much more clearly. So now we get the output in a perfect manner. Let's look at functions in PHP. Functions must be defined when we need to break a given task into various modules. If you have a big task and you want to divide that thing into various modules, you can use functions. To define a function in PHP, it's very simple. We have to simply say function, spacebar, the function name, in bracket the arguments of the function. For example, I have function add $a, $b. This indicates the add function takes in two arguments, a and b. It will find out the sum by saying $sum equals to $a plus $b, and it will return that sum at the output. So the function can take multiple inputs but provides only one output. This is similar to C, that any function can take in multiple inputs but can provide only one output. How do we return multiple values from a function? The answer is correct. We use call by reference technique. In PHP as well, we have a call by reference technique. To use the call by reference technique, each argument that has to be returned from the function must be prefixed with a ampersand sign. For example, if I want to find out the sum and average from the same function, then I will write function sum underscore average, that's the name of the function. I have a and b as the input arguments, comma, and $sum. This indicates this sum variable will be returned from this function by reference, that is and, comma, and average. This also indicates the average variable is passed by reference to this function. Then we will say sum equals to a plus b, average equals sum by 2. That's it. So whenever we'll call this function by saying sum average 10, 20, $sum, $average, it will give me at the output the sum and average of this a and b. Once we are done with the sum and average, let's move our attention towards default function arguments. Let's consider the function polish shoe $color. This function will give the output shoe polished with $call color. So this $call indicates the color that you want at the output. If I will call the function by saying polish shoe brown, it will output shoe polished with brown color. But assume that I call the function by saying polish shoe and no arguments passed, then by default PHP will give a blank value to $col, and at the output you will have shoe polished with spacebar color. That means you don't have any color over there because PHP has given it a blank value. To come to a remedy of this problem, we can simply pass default values to the polish shoe function, as we will have function polish shoe $call equals to black. This indicates that if there is no value passed with the function polish shoe, then take the default value as black, and the function definition is same. So if we do not pass any argument while calling it, it would take the default value of call as black. Once we are done with the default variables, let us come to global variables. Let's consider a situation where we have $val equals to 10, and I want to display the value of this val inside the function disp. We will not be able to do this because val is not a global variable. Val is a local variable of the PHP code, and that cannot be accessed inside the function disp. But if we want to access this global variable inside the function disp, then we need to define it as a global variable inside that function. For example, if I define $val equals to 10 as a function disp, I have to say global $val. This indicates that search for this $val inside the complete PHP code, and whatever is the current value of $val, put that current value of $val in the statements to come. So we'll have echo $val. This will display the value of val, which is 10. Let's do it and check out how do we define functions, default function arguments, and how do we define the value of global variables. Let's do it for our next example for functions. Over here in the PHP codes, let me create a new file, start the PHP tag, end the PHP tag. Let me give the name as function_test.php. Over here, I'll just define a function add. Let me give $a, $b, and I will say over here $sum equals to $a plus $b. I'll say return $sum. You will be able to appreciate the fact that we don't have any return type over here, because function in itself indicates that whatever value will be returned after return should be given back to the function, or should be given back to the call where you have called the function. So let's call the function over here by saying $x equals to 20, $y equals to 35, and $z equals to add $x, $y. Then I will say echo $x dot the plus sign $y, again dot equal to sign equals to $z. Okay, so it will print out the value of x, that is 20, attach it with a plus sign. This plus sign has nothing to do with this because we have just echoed that thing at the output, dot $y, which is this value 35. We'll put the equal to sign and then $z. So let's run this thing at the output. If you forget the name at any time in the code, You can just go to the practice folder. You'll be able to get the list of the files that you have created. Out of that, I want to run function test. So I'll just click on it. I will get the output 20 plus 35 equals to 55. Let me add one more function over here. I will say function add subtract. I will give $a over here, $b over here, and $add and $subtract. The meaning of AND is you will be passing the add and subtract by reference and not by value. So whatever changes you do over here to add and subtract will be reflected back in the actual variables. So if I do $add equals to $a plus $b, $subtract equals to $a minus $b, and if I do over here add underscore subtract x, as this function is not giving me back anything, so I can safely discard the equal to sign. I'll say add sub comma $sum comma $difference. It is just taken as sum and difference to show you that the variable names can be different. That should not be a problem. If I will say $x plus $y equals to $sum, I'll give a br slash over here, and again I will do echo $x dot minus dot $y dot equals to dot $diff. I refresh that thing again. I'll be able to get 20 plus 35 equals to 55. That was fine because the sum variable has been a plus b only, and I will get 20 minus 35 is minus 15. That's also fine because I'm able to get the difference. So the main part to look over here is whatever change you made to the variables add and subtract inside the function is being reflected to the variables sum and difference when the function is being called, because they are passed not by value but by reference. So far so good. Let's now begin with the next part, which is the default function arguments. I will have a polish shoe function that we saw in the slides. I'll give the color over here. It will give me the output echo shoe polished with $call color. Whatever color I will pass, it will give me the output as that color. I will call the function by saying polish shoe, give the color as black. I'll refresh this thing. It will give me the output shoe polish with black color. This black comes from here. Now if I don't pass anything to the function, I refresh it. What will give? It will first give me the warning that missing argument 1 for polish shoe. Now it will give me the output shoe polish with some blank color because it is not able to get any value for this color. If I will give the default value of color as say brown, so if I call the function by not passing any arguments, I will get the output shoe polish with brown color because it is taking the default value of the color as brown. If I give over here now say black, so it will give me the output shoe polish with black color because this default argument was now replaced by the black argument. If I'll give the over here as white color, it will give me the output shoe polish with white color. So that means if you don't pass anything over here, it will take the default value. If you pass something, it will discard that default value and take in the value what you have passed. Let's now check the global variable concept. I'll have num equals to 10. I will say function print num, and I'll just say over here echo $num. Whenever I will call print underscore num, it should give me no output because num has not been defined yet. But if I will say global num, whatever value of num you have given over here would be the value which comes over here. Now the main advantage of this is if you change the value of num over here to say 25 and then call print underscore num, it will give the value as 25 at the output because it first printed out 10 because of this 10, then you again called print num, it printed out 25. So to make a difference, I'll just give over here a dot br slash, so that we are able to make out that it's printing two values, 10 and 25, because I have called the function twice. If I remove this function from here and I will refresh it, it will give me the output 25, because it's whenever you are calling print num, it is going to the function print num, it is finding the global variable num, whatever is the current value of this num, it is printing that thing out. Okay, so that is the main use of global variables. Whatever current value of the variable you have set is the value that will be printed at the output.